we're going to do another quick, stupid review today. Hopefully it's going to be quicker than the last one. We're looking at a Squier Classic Vibe 70s precision bass. Why did I order this bass? Okay, I wanted a P bass with a maple neck. Now, I'm not sure how it's showing up in the video there, but being Classic Vibe, they want to make it look like it's from the 70s, I guess, so they want to make it look a little aged. I think they overdid it. They tint the neck. It's obviously tinted, but if you look at the color, I mean, it looks like a roasted maple neck. It's not a roasted maple neck. It's just a maple neck, and they colored it. This is the first thing I noticed when I pulled it out of the box, which was kind of a box and a half. It was a little weird. There was the shipping box, and then inside the shipping box was essentially an open box with no cover on it with this in it. It got here. It was okay. There were no issues, but it was a little unusual. I'm used to seeing completely double boxed instruments. This was not double boxed. It was boxed and a half. So yeah, I pulled it out, and can you see how dark this is? The first thing I thought of was it looked like somebody had sprayed it with tanning spray. It's got an orange tint to it. Stop trying to do that, guys. You don't have to make them look old. You can make them look new as long as they sound good, or just don't overdo it. So just bear with me here. See this guy. This is my 1994 made in Mexico P bass. This thing is 28 years old. It's going on 30 years since it was created. And it has aged. I can definitely tell that this is darker than it was when I first got it. But if you compare it to this thing, seriously, who was on the job that day? And did they get docked for using too much of the spray tan? Because it is so dark. Well, it's not a small thing. The look of an instrument is important. It's not a small thing. So again, the reason I wanted this, maple neck. I love the block inlays. I'm sure they're painted in. They're not actual block inlays. But the look, again, look is important. I got my Geddy Lee back there, which is actual block inlays. And I love those. So I wanted to get something in a P bass that kind of goes along with that. Again, though, I mean, you can see the color difference between this. And I've had that P bass for 16, 17 years, easy. Going on 18. It's old too, and it has aged a little bit, but man, I mean, this is ridiculous. This is overkill, guys. I don't need the spray stuff on it, man. It looks kind of orange, you know what I'm saying, right? It's not a good look. And it's interesting, right now you can't get a Fender made in Mexico or made in USA that looks like this. Even going through their little online customization thing, you can't get a neck with block inlays. I looked, and that's going to be $2,000 anyway if you want to go that route, it's neat. If you've never played in the Fender store where you can create your own instrument, your own guitar or bass or whatever, go there and have a good time. It's fun. You can see I'm a Fender fan. I like Fenders, and I want to like Squier for less than twice as much as this. You can get a made in Mexico P bass, and I think that's the route I'm going to go next because, well, let's get into it. Aesthetics aside, I pulled it out, and the neck already needed adjusting. It was bowed in a little bit. And then I not even plugging it in, I just started playing it. My main measurement for an instrument is, would I play it tonight at a gig? And when I pulled this thing out of the box and started playing it, the answer was no. And the immediate reason for that is 12th fret, D string. I don't know if you can hear that. It's still rattling a little bit. You can go down to 11th fret, doesn't do it. 13th fret, doesn't do it. 12th fret. It's a bad fret job. Showed that to my wife. I explained to her what was going on. She said I should send it back. And I don't send instruments back. I never have. I would say 9 out of 10 people that got this bass would have and should have sent it back. I said, no, I can work on it, I can fix it. And that's kind of my approach anyway. Is like, screw it, I'll fix it, I'll make it work. As you can hear, I haven't gotten there yet, and let me tell you what I did last night to try and get there. First thing I did was figured that there was one high fret here, and I got my fret rocker out, and I tried to get this fret down a little bit. It helped a teensy-weensy bit, but then I started getting noises in other places from adjusting that fret. So I ended up having to level all the frets. I got a picture that I'll put over here somewhere. Yeah, you shouldn't have to do that on a new bass. And as I was looking at it, it didn't look like the frets were ever really finished at the factory. It looked like they were starting to finish it or gave up on it. It was lunchtime. I don't know. They were not good. I still have 2 frets that are low. The only way I would have to keep sanding these things down to the point where it's going to be a fretless bass. That's not what I'm looking for right now. So, regardless, I went through the whole process yesterday, several hours of basically getting these frets more even. Did that, cleaned them up, got them playable, and that was my first goal, was just to get it playable, and restrung it, and I still have. That's not acceptable, Squier. That's 100% not acceptable. I basically did a full setup on the thing. I even raised the action some to try and get it out of there, and it's still doing it. I will get it eventually. But because of that, this is not an instrument I would take out and play tonight. That's a major knockdown. If your job is to make instruments, then that can't happen. Your quality control has to be better than that. Again, I'm a Fender fan. I've got these 2 Squiers sitting here, plus the Affinity bass that I reviewed last week, and they've all worked for me. This has been the most disappointing thing I've ever gotten from Squier or Fender. It says on the back here, designed and backed by Fender. Okay, Fender, you're letting us down, Fender. This is not the quality I expect from Fender or Squier even. Besides that, it sounds fine. I'm going to replace this pickup. I've got an EMG passive that I'm going to put in here that I really like. It's not very helpful though if you have a bad fret. I mean, it's just, can you tell that this bothers me and that this shouldn't be happening? And again, I should have returned it. If you were ordering this for your kid for Christmas and it came in like that, what are you going to do? You have to send it back. Good thing though is at least it came with all the requisite paperwork, including all the check marks where it was quality control. Good job, guys. It does come with 2 little Allen wrenches and a handy little container here, and you better hold on to them because you're probably going to need to use them pretty quick after you get the bass if it's anything like what I got. Obviously, everyone off the line is going to be a little different, but quality control should have taken care of this long before it got out of the factory, much less on a ship or a truck or in my hands. I rarely get an instrument that has a problem that could keep me from using it. Again, that night at a gig. And this one is unacceptable. I would not use it at a gig. I wouldn't recommend it. If you can go into a store and play one and test the frets, if you can test the frets better than the people at the factory did, and it works, then fine. And if the color is better or it doesn't bother you, also fine. But I cannot recommend this the way that it came in. I was trying to figure out what score I was going to give it. I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. Even for the money, 4 out of 10. I am not impressed with this thing at all. So yeah, right now, Mexican Fender precision bass, $849. $400 more. Yeah, it's still less than twice as much as this thing. And based on what I'm seeing here, it's worth it. Now, it doesn't have the block inlays, also doesn't have the spray tan, and it probably doesn't have the bad fretwork. The other thing I've noticed about frets is I was working on it last night. I'm going to get fret sprout. I can feel it already. I don't know if you can hear it. Listen. And it's sharp. Yeah, I haven't cut my hand on it yet, and it's not horrible, but I can feel it. That one right there is bad. That is bad. Yeah, unacceptable. It's you guys are killing me. I wanted this thing to be good. I wanted to have a good review of it. I'm going to have to put more work into it. There may come a day when this bass is good enough to play at a gig. but not this day. It is not gig ready. How do you like the roasted maple neck? If only it was supposed to be a roasted maple neck. The bass that I did, the Affinity bass, the less than $200 Affinity bass that I did a review on last week, that I'm donating, is better than this. I would play that at a gig tonight. I wouldn't. This is not happening. This is not what it's supposed to be. This should be better. It's annoying. I'm having to come up with like new words to describe my disappointment in this thing. I will say again, I am a Fender fan. I am a Squier fan. I appreciate the instruments they put out so that beginners and people on tight budgets can go out and play. You can't do it on if the instrument isn't good, though. It has to be at least good enough to play. And this is probably the first one in 800 years of doing this. This is the first time I've got an instrument that cannot be played at a gig tonight. That's disappointing. I mean, that's unacceptable. That word keeps coming up. I wonder how many times I said it. 4 out of 10 on a good day. I'm being nice because I like Squier and I like Fender. 0 out of 10 would not be inappropriate since you can't gig with it yet. You can play a lot of notes, but you can't play them all, and that's not fair. That's not fair to the person who spent the money. That's not fair to the people who are listening to the music. So you have to do better than this Squier. You have to. I will make this guy work. So we'll see where it goes. So Squier, get your act together. Unacceptable. Acceptable? Acceptable? Unacceptable. I may never order a Squier again. I don't have any confidence in them right now, and I know it's instrument to instrument, but I can't have this. I'm not going to have this. I think I've complained enough, maybe. But if you're thinking about getting something like this as a gift for your kids or yourself online, I can't recommend it right now. You may get lucky, get a good one. You may get unlucky and get a bad one. And if you get a bad one, don't do what I did. Send it back. Send it back and tell them, unacceptable. I need a bass that plays. I'm sad. It makes me sad. It really makes me sad. I really wanted it to be good. And I really wanted it to look not so orange. Obviously, if you have the money, go buy a $2,000 bass. If you have $450, I would not recommend this. I'd recommend you look at Ibanez. I've never been disappointed in anything I've gotten from Ibanez. So I would go with the Made in Mexico bass. It's moderately affordable, and I think you're going to get a good bass for that as opposed to this thing. This is not good even for the money. So, and remember, stay hydrated. Always stay hydrated. Electrolytes. It's what I crave. Eyes are here, guy. Eyes are up here. Eyes. I don't know. It's okay. Figure it out. You can see. Oh. Maths. Go with it, man. Go with it. All right. So what? So. Wait, you see my eyeball? I probably should have sent it back, but seriously.